All right. Shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakathum to the brothers, and Shalom Yahweh Shemar Allah Son by Hashem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. Where the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right, tonight's class is the Lashawan Qadash class. All right, the Hebrew class. I say this every class. Make sure you come and attend this class. It's very important and it's very imperative that we learn the Hebrew language and we learn the language of our ancestors. Now, if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, all right, your ancestors are the Israelites and are the Jews. All right, we come from the Israelites in the Bible. We come from the Jews of the Bible that are in the Bible. The same blood that ran through Christ is the same blood that runs through you. If you're Mexican, the same blood that runs through Christ runs through the Mexicans. The same blood that runs through Christ runs through the Dominicans, runs through the El Salvadorians, runs through the Costa Ricans, runs through the Cubans. You understand? Runs through the Peruvians, runs through the Puerto Ricans, runs through the Colombians. If you're so-called Native American, the blood of Christ runs through you. And I'm not talking about anything spiritual. I'm talking about your little blood, your bloodline. Like this is your race. You come from the same race of Christ. The same blood that runs through the veins of Christ. It's the same blood that runs through the Navajo. The same blood that runs through the Iroquois. The same ones that run through the Cherokee. The ones that run through the Comanche. The ones that run through the Apache. The ones that run through the Blackfoot. The ones that run through the Creeks. The one that runs through the Pequot, the ones that run through the Wampanoag. The same blood that runs through Christ runs through every single Negro in America and every single Negro throughout the entire planet. If you come from Trinidad or from Tobago or from the Virgin Islands, if you come from the Bahama area, if you come from the islands, all right, if you come from the Bermuda area, all right. If you come from the islands over there, the same blood that runs through Christ, it runs through you as well. Does everybody get the point? I want to make sure. I'm gonna reiterate that. All right. And I want that to be understood. All right. And so the language that Christ spoke, since the very same blood, the very same blood that runs through Christ runs through us as well. All right. Christ had a language. Christ spoke a language. Christ didn't speak the English language. Christ spoke Hebrew. Christ spoke the Lashawan Qadash. Christ knew how to say Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah or Barakatham. Christ knew how to say Yahweh Shamar Allah Son Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right? Christ knew these things. Second, actually thinking about it, let me get the KJV up. I'm gonna get the KJV up 1611. All right, and I'm gonna get the scripture. Let's find out. Let me get a scripture for y'all. I want to make sure it's in the New Testament. And if I can, let me see if I can look something up. Y'all bear with me. Also, if anybody has any questions too, make sure you put it into the live chat. The water for checking into as well. I believe I found a good one. I could possibly find something better. Possibly. We're about to find out. Let's see. Yeah, this is perfect right here. Perfect. This is what I want. While I get that, give me a second. Argue. Go back to the drawing board too. Con, Most High in Christ, Con, the water for y'all check-ins. If y'all have any questions, put into the live chat as well. I'll go over it real quick. All right, before we get into the lesson. All right. I believe I want the Acts chapter 26 and 14. I believe that's what I want. Acts chapter 26 and 14. Let me double check for y'all. All right. It should be Christ speaking. Yep. Should be Christ speaking. Oh yeah, God. Of course, I forgot. So like it's 1611, so it's gonna look kind of different. All right. I don't have the other screen up, do I? All right. So y'all ain't seeing nothing that I'm seeing. It's a lot here. It's a lot here about that. All right. So what I want to get, all right, what I was just breaking down before, like Christ. All right. Christ spoke Hebrew. All right. And in Acts chapter 26 and 14 is a perfect precept explaining how Christ spoke in the Lashawan Qadash and spoke Hebrew. All right. This is further proof that Christ had a nationality and Christ had a race that he belonged to. Because of Christianity, no one believes that race doesn't matter. Because of Christianity, race does not matter, but race is absolutely important when it comes to these scriptures and when it comes to the Bible. Christ identified as an Israelite. Christ identified as a Jew. Christ spoke Hebrew. Christ came from the seed of David. Christ comes from the tribe of Judah. Christ is a black man like the Mexicans. Christ is a black man like the Dominicans. Christ is a black man like the El Salvadorians. Christ is a black man just like the Native Americans. Christ is a black man just like the so-called Negroes in America. Christ is a black man just just like the Trinidadians and the Trinidadians, Jamaica, the brothers from Tobago, all right, from the Virgin Islands. Christ is black, just like them. You understand? And so Christ had a language to himself. Christ had a language that belonged to him because he came from a certain race of people. All right. So let's get on the screen. Let's get Acts. All right. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. All right. Now I'm not going to break this down. All right. All right. All right. I'm not going to break it down completely. All right. But I want you to understand that, and when we were all fallen to the earth. All right. Can anybody guess what that means? And when we were all falling to the earth, what is being said here? The earth is just referring to the ground. All right. So what are we saying here? So this is Paul. This is getting to the story about Paul. This is when Paul is pretty much about to be introduced. All right. That's when it says Saul, Saul. Eventually he will become Paul when he comes into the truth. All right. And I heard a voice speaking unto me. This voice is the voice of Christ. That voice is the voice of Christ. And saying in the Hebrew tongue, meaning this is the Hebrew language that Christ is speaking in, saying, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Why is Christ saying to Saul or Paul at this time, why persecutest thou me? Meaning, why are you persecuting me? Why is Christ saying this? Anybody remember the gist of it? Anybody kind of remember this breakdown? Now keep in mind, this is Paul telling his story to King Agrippa. That's the context to it all. Right. Because at one point in time, Paul was give Officer Matthias our hand. At one point in time, Paul was persecuting Christians, which are ones who followed Christ, which were the disciples of Christ. All right, who were the disciples of Christ at that time. That's why he's saying that. So why persecutest thou me? And it says, it is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Somebody break that down. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Somebody tell me, what is a prick? Y'all let me know, what is a prick? Anybody want to give it a shot? What is a prick? What does it mean to kick against the pricks? Like, what does it mean to kick against the pricks? Like, not what is a prick, but what does it mean to kick against the pricks? Okay, like thorns. Okay, in this context, not so much. For Officer Yakadar, not so much like thorns. Not in this context. La I see, not like thorns. Not in this case. Anybody else want to give it a shot? What does it mean to kick against the pricks? Hurting yourself? Not so much. Not is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Nope. Give the sister a hand. Give the sister a hand. All right. Give Miss Coco a hand. She said going against the grains. Right. Kick against the pricks. All right. So if y'all don't know, all right, to kick against the pricks, it's like it's an old saying, right? Referring to resistance. All right. So a prick, let me break it down to y'all. A prick is what you would use to get an animal going, right? Because in order, okay, a prick, think of like the spur. Think of like a spur in the back of a boot. That's a prick, right? That's a prick. Something that's pointy, that's going, but is used, right? In this context, this is a prick that's used to get an animal going. All right, this is used to get an animal going because what is the animal doing? If you have to use a prick to give the sister hand, forcing motion. If you have to use a prick or a spur to get or a goad, right, in order to get an animal going, all right, what would you have to do? Well, I mean, what is that animal doing? It's showing you what? Somebody let me know. What is it showing you? What is it showing you? It's giving you what? What is it showing? What is that animal doing? In order, you have to use these spurs, right? You have to use these pricks. So now, what is that animal doing? Give the sister a hand, stubbornness. Anybody else want to give it a shot? Give Officer Mataz's a hand. It's giving you resistance. Give the sister a hand, stubbornness. Not moving, right? Not listening. Resistance, being stubborn, right? So now you have to use this prick. Now you have to use this prick in order to get it going, right? To get this animal going, right? And so he's saying kick. Is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Right? To kick against the pricks. All right? Meaning to go against. You understand? It's to go against. Pretty much what Christ is telling, like it's telling Paul in this case, is like you, right? 1 second. And so now Christ is saying to kick against the pricks, meaning to go against. Is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Is this something that's hard for you to do? To be resistant? Is this something hard for you to do? Now why is Christ saying, is this something hard for you to do? Why is it hard for you to be resistant? Is it hard for you to be resistant? Why do you think Christ is saying this? Why is Christ saying this? Remember, to kick against the pricks, meaning to give resistance. And not any kind of resistance, right? Resistance referring to like danger, like a form of danger, right? Like a serious, like you're taking a risk for this type of resistance. So Christ is asking Paul, is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Why is he saying this? Why is Christ saying this to Paul? Can anybody give it a shot? Now he's saying this in the Hebrew tongue. Why persecutest thou me? Is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Why is Christ saying this? Okay, not so much you can't win against Christ. You can't, not so much you can't win going against Christ. Not so much that that's a true statement. That is a true statement. Be trained. Explain be trained. What do you mean by that? Chuba across the par. It's very close. That water just tasted very weird. Weird. You can't win going against Christ. That's true. But he's saying, why persecutest thou me? Is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Why is he saying that last part? It's hard to go against them. Well, give me more. Y'all give me more. And for the rib of Officer Mataza, meaning saying be trained. For Chuba across the par, give me more on what you're saying. And sis, it's hard to go give me more. Just give me more. Why persecute thou me? Think about when Christ is saying, why persecute thou me? Is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Is it hard for you to put yourself through danger, to take risk and danger, to take a dangerous resistance? Think about why persecutest thou me? Think about that part. And maybe you'll understand why Christ is saying this. Let's see who got it. Let's see who can figure it out. Here's the test to see if who knows the Bible. This is the real test right here. That's why there's sugar at the bottom of that. That water tastes very weird. Tastes sweeter than usual. Let's see who knows the Bible. It says, why persecutest thou me? Because a lot of people were persecuting Christ followers at that time. That's true. So because a lot of people were persecuting Christ followers at that time, meaning you were able to stand and persecute the followers of Christ. So is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? So it was easy, right? I guess it was easy to persecute who follow me. He's persecuting or resisting Christ. He is persecuting or resisting Christ. Okay, I see what you're getting at, Trooper Call. And so why persecutest thou me, right? It must be easy to persecute Christ, right? It must be easy to persecute the ones who follow Christ, right? Is it hard for him to train Paul to obey? They wouldn't. Not so much that. That's not so much that. But I see where you're getting at. I see where you're getting, but not so much that. Paul was on the bandwagon. This is Paul about to be on the bandwagon. All right. By persecuting his followers. Exactly, by persecuting his followers. You were being resistant. Exactly. Give Trooper a call ahead. I think the way his first question was, his first answer was led to his second answer. His first answer led into a second answer, and so I'm putting them two together. That's correct. He is persecuting and resisting Christ by persecuting his followers. Trooper a call, Sapar a hand. That's pretty much the answer and very close. All right. Persecuted, when it talks about persecuting his followers, right? You already resisted Christ by persecuting the followers of Christ. So is it hard for you to resist everything else in order to follow me? So is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Does everybody understand now? Does everybody get what Christ is saying when he said this? Like, it was easy for you to persecute my followers. You were kicking against the pricks then by resisting me, by going against me, by persecuting my followers. Right? So is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Meaning, so he's just making a statement. Like, so is it hard for you to do this? So is it hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Meaning, is it hard for you to now resist everything else and put yourself in danger in order to serve me? Because, I hope y'all know killing Christians won't that simple. I hope you guys understand at that time, killing Christians won't that simple. You had to go to war with those Christians at that time. Y'all Christians today, y'all ain't real Christians. The Christians that are in the Bible, those were some hardcore revolutionary brothers. And you won't just killing them. That won't no you won't just that won't no easy that easy get up. If you feed or give drink to little ones, you do it unto Christ, or say, paraphrase, you do it unto Christ. Okay, I see what you mean. Do it unto Christ. You do unto Christ. And so everybody gets the point. All right. And so I brought this up, of course, to get out the Hebrew tongue. But I believe so you guys can see that a little better. Let's see. Now, can everybody see what's on the screen? Everybody see what's on the screen? Do I need to make it a little bigger? I may need to make it a little bigger for me. Of course. All right. You see this right here? All right. That right there is one of Paul. All right. One Nepal. Anybody remember what Nepal means? You got Wa, Nepal. Does anybody know what Nepal means? Everybody can see it, Most High in Christ. Now this is the New Testament in Hebrew. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Y'all thought y'all never see the New Testament written in Hebrew. That's why I said that what we want to do here as well is get very familiar with the Assyrian script, because the majority of our records, the majority of our records are written in the Assyrian script. All right, they're completely written in the Assyrian script. So you want to be able to get used to these words. You want to study the 100 most common verbs, so you can look at these root words and figure them out and what they mean. Of course, you can practice in the Old Testament, because what the Old Testament will do is you'll be able to click on them. If you're on a computer or if you're on your phone, the Old Testament in certain apps that only have the Old Testament in Hebrew, you can click on them like the Blue Letter Bible, right? You can click on it and you'll be able to know what that word means. And everybody understand? And Nepal does mean to fall. Give Officer Yakadar a hand. Fall. Nepal meaning to fall. All right. So why Nepal? So you have one Nepal. Call. Call Nawa. Does anybody remember? Call. What is call is? That word, that's the root word call. What does call mean? Anybody want to give it a shot? What does call mean? Anybody remember? What does call mean? But that's why I always say, study the Hebrew. Study that Assyrian script. Because now we about to freestyle, if that makes sense. We about to freestyle right here. There ain't no click. There ain't no clicky clicky to see what there ain't no clicky clicky here to figure out what's what. Anybody want to give it a shot? What does it mean? Call. That's a ka and a la put together. Call. Of course, it's saying call Noah. Call Noah. Anybody remember what call means? I'll give it to y'all for time's sake. If y'all may not remember, call means all, or like everyone or everybody, like all. That's why when you go here, you see this all. We were all. That's that call Noah. That call Noah is saying we were all. All right. So when a Paul call Noah Arataza, who remembers what Arataza means? Arataza. Who remembers what Arataza means? When a Paul, so far we got when a Paul call Noah Arataza. Not Arataza, but Arataza, because there's a ha at the end of that. So Arataza. 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 What does Arataza mean? The root word is Arataza, but it's Arataza. So Arataza. What does Arataza mean? Somebody give it a shot. Earth or land, but earth, land, ground, all of the above. Right, that's why you see it right here. So now we got the first sentence out the way. That's the first sentence. You see, you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's like that. I miscount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got 9 words. And then on this side, you got 3. Got 3 words. So for 9 words in English, we said all of that in 3. When Paul called Nawa Arataza. That was it right there. When Paul called Nawa Arataza. That just said, and when we all fall into the earth. All it said, Arataza. All right. When a Paul, it's like it when a Paul called Nawa Arataza. All right. Wa, you have your wa and your I, Shemai. So now the root word here is Shemai. The root word here is the root word here is Shemai. What does Shemai mean? Somebody give me a shot. What does Shemai? What does Shemai mean? Somebody give it to me. Shemai. Somebody let me know what Shemai means. Not voice, not diligent. It can mean diligent. It can mean diligent at times, but not voice, not diligent. Shemai could mean diligent. But what's the main definition? What's the top definition and meaning of Shemai? What makes someone diligent? Not speak. That's good. That was a good one, but not speak. What makes someone diligent? What would make somebody diligent? That's why Shemai means diligent. Shemai can also mean diligent because this is what makes someone diligent. What makes somebody diligent? Not really their actions of loyalty. Okay, in order to obey. Okay, hardworking, obeying. Okay, in order to obey, what are you doing? In order to obey, what would you have to do in order to obey? What would you have to do to even have loyalty and have the actions that you have? There's something you have to do first, and this is what Shemai means. Not persistent. Give the sister a hand. A good listener. Give the sister a hand. Give who else got it after that? Give Officer Yagadar a hand. Listening or hearing. Most High Christ. Give Officer Mataza a hand. Listening or hearing. Right. In order to be diligent, you have to listen. In order to obey, you have to listen. Your loyalty. All right. The sister said something heavy too. Let me bring that out too. The sister said, what did sister say? Goddamn, where's the comment at? The sister said right here. The sister said, this is the river also Mataza, said that action or loyalty. Well, allow me to give y'all a hint to what loyalty really looks like. All right, allow me to tell you something. Loyalty comes from listening. In order for you to show me your loyalty, is by listening to me and by doing everything that I tell you to do. That's how you show your loyalty to me. This is what it means to be in the truth, is you listen. In order to follow the truth, you listen. That's how you're in the truth. That's how you're going to survive in the truth. That's how you're going to make it in the truth. Because that's what the real world is about. And that's what the kingdom of heaven is going to be about. It's going to be about listening and obeying. All right. And this is how you're going to prove your loyalty. And this is how you're going to show your loyalty. And this is what it means to be in the truth. Do you understand? And all of that stems from listening first. You have to know how to listen. If you can't listen, then how can you be loyal? Dogs are loyal to their master. Dogs are loyal to a man simply because a dog listens. A dog does exactly what you tell it to do. If you tell the dog to sit, that's loyalty. If you tell the dog not to bite and it doesn't bite, that's loyalty. Give the sister a hand. That makes sense because you have to listen to know to follow. Exactly. You tell the dog to sit, it sits. That's loyalty. You tell the dog to come here and it comes back and it comes to you. That's loyalty. A dog is always going to go back to who it listens to. That's loyalty. You can take a dog away, but a dog knows who his master is. And when the dog sees his master, the dog is going to come running back to its owner because that's who the dog listens to, and that's loyalty. Does everybody understand? Sometimes sisters don't understand that at times. Sometimes sisters don't understand the simple concept, but that's fine. Now, disclaimer, no one's calling any sister a dog. No one is calling a sister a dog. All right? We're not calling you dogs. All right? But I'm trying to explain what obedience looks like. All right? And the reason why I'm so serious about obedience, all right, simply because I obey. My favorite line. Let me tell you what my favorite line is. All right? And I say this line at my slavery too. All right? At my slavery, I'm one of the main techs at my slavery. All right? And so, which means I somewhat tell people what to do. All right? To an extent. All right? To an extent, I tell people what to do. All right? I'm one of the main techs out there, leading techs. And my favorite lines to the crew that I'm managing, I tell them this all the time. I say, I'll never tell you anything that I won't do. That's my favorite line to tell them. I will not tell you anything that I wouldn't do. So if I tell you to do this, that means I would do it too. If I tell you to go there, that means I would go there too. So I wouldn't make you do anything, nor will I tell you to do something that I wouldn't do. And so I bring that very same concept here. I will never tell you anything. I will never tell you to do anything unless I do it too. The reason why I tell you to shut the hell up and be quiet is because I shut up and be quiet. Does everybody understand? I know that might be a hard pill for some sisters to swallow, but let me help you out. If I tell you to be quiet, that's because I be quiet. If I tell you to stop talking, it's because I stop talking. If I tell you to cover up, it's because I cover up. Does it make sense? Does everybody get my point? Do you see me parading my body around? I have a whole shirt on that's covering my chest. I have a chest. Sisters, you have breast. Put a shirt on that covers it. I do it. I do it. Y'all get the point? I wear pants to cover the majority of my legs. When I wear shorts, I make sure I barely wear shorts. Y'all brothers really not gonna see me wear shorts. But if I do wear shorts, they're shorts that cover, right, the majority of what I need to cover. So as a sister, I expect you to do the same. I'm not trying to show off my shape to nobody. I can have a physique. Brothers have physiques. Sisters know brothers have physiques. Sisters look at brothers that got the chest and the arms and the nice legs and the nice glutes. Sisters look at men the very same way. But we're not wearing clothes to show off our physique. We're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. All right? The men that do it, they're questionable. You might want to question them brothers that are doing it. Like, why are you wearing this so tight shorts? You might want to, why? It's not like you're running track to be aerodynamic. So why? You're not doing flips in the air, brother. So why are you just wearing these tight ass pants doing squats in the gym, brother? I don't know, brother. You might swing that way, sis, and you may want to go the other way before you end up with something you wouldn't want to have. But everybody gets the point. I will never tell you to do anything that I wouldn't do. All right. So with that being said, listen, pay attention and listen, and be diligent, and then that will show me your loyalty. I pray that everybody understands. Right, those like those crazy muscle shirts, right? Those crazy muscle shirts. All right, you know, I don't know if you know what a muscle shirt is, but you're just showing too much. All right, there's no need to show all of that. Right now, I'm not saying a brother. Some brothers will just have. There are brothers out there. They just have a natural physique, and by working out, that physique is just there. And so, no matter what shirt they wear, their muscles are going to pop out. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Just like no matter some sisters just have a shape, and no matter what they wear, that thing is going to keep thinging. You understand? This is what's going to happen. But you can cover it up. There's a way to cover it up. All right. Sometimes it's going to be there. It happens. It happens. It's going to happen. But you can still cover it up. It is, you don't have to have your cheeks out. You understand? You don't have to have your rear end out. And I don't need to see your entire breast and none of that. I don't need to see what your nipples look like and none of that. I shouldn't have to know that you have piercings on your. I shouldn't have to know any of that. You can cover all. There's a way to cover all of those things up. All right, but that's not tonight's topic. All right, so let's keep going. So Shemai. All right. So now, of course, you got the wa. Anybody remember what that wa is? Y'all let me know. What is that wa? What is that wa? Now, wa in front of a verb, or that wa in front of a word means what? Y'all let me know. Y'all break it down. What's that wa? And also give me that ah too. That wa and that ah in front of the verb. What does that mean? Let's see who knows something. And I or I am. Okay, also sometimes I am. So now wa ah shamai. So like you got that wa ah shamai. All right. That's the I and I heard. All right, that's the I heard right there. The wa ah shamai is that I heard. All right. Kawal. All right. Anybody know what kawal means? I believe a sister answered it before. She thought this is what Shemai meant. To give y'all a hint, the sister answered this with Shemai, but this is what it means. This is what kawal means. Y'all let me know what kawal means. Give Officer Mataza a hand and give Ms. Coco a hand, a voice, right? So Kawal is that a voice right there. All right. Wa Shamai Kawal. Madabar. What does Madabar mean? Madabar. Well, first, the bar meaning what? What does the bar mean? I mean, well, la'ah doesn't mean Hebrew. La'ah doesn't mean Hebrew. It is Hebrew though. La'ah, this one doesn't mean Hebrew. That was a good guess though. It doesn't mean Hebrew. I mean Hebrew. I see the sisters using the some of y'all need to catch on to what the sister doing. She's low key teaching herself, but she's using the English translation to help her with the Hebrew translation. Well, with the Hebrew, which is good, but don't do that. Don't do that. You're gonna trip yourself up though. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's good, but don't do that. Don't do that. You might end up translating it incorrectly because not all of it will match up all the time. Sometimes it could go in order, sometimes it just won't. All right, but that was a good guess though. Not Hebrew though. Not Hebrew. But give also Mataza a hand to speak. The bar just means to speak, and so that ma in front of it. Y'all know what that ma means, right? What does that ma mean in front of it? I know Officer Mataza I should know this. Or I know Officer Yakadar knows this. What does that ma mean? Who else be paying attention in my Hebrew classes? Remember, we freestyling here. We freestyling here. So we gonna see what's up. We about to see what's up. You can't click on these words to figure it out what they mean. We freestyling. We freestyling. For the most part, I know the majority of these words. For the most part. All right. Come on, let me see. What word I may not. I'm trying to see what word I may not know. Hmm. Mm-hmm. I know this one for sure. I think I might. Yeah, I think I might. This one. This is the right here. Yeah. I think give Officer Mataza a hand. That ma meaning from. Khan. Right. Shamagabar. From what? Khan. Exactly. From or from what? Exactly. So that matabar. That's your saying. All right. Then you have your all ya. That all meaning unto, right? That all meaning unto, that ya at the end, that's the me. So all unto me. So saying unto me. So far it's going in order. Now, it's not always like that. All right. In the Old Testament, all right, Hebrew has two functions, all right. The way we speak Hebrew now, the way you speak Hebrew is not always how you write it sometimes, and how you write it, how you speak it. You can say things before and after, and it means the same thing. Like we can flip all of this, and it'll still translate to the same thing. You're going to see that more in the Old Testament than you do in the New Testament, because the New Testament is going to flow more so as if it. Sometimes it will flow, verbatim like it is. Not always, but it will at times. All right. So don't get into a habit of translating it that way, but at times it does. At times it does. Okay. Because remember, this is more modern, right? This is more so more modern. Everybody understand where I'm coming from with that? All right. Here we go. For the root word, Lashawan. All right. Y'all should know this one. Lashawan. What does Lashawan mean? What does Lashawan mean? Let's see who got it. Okay, tongue. Okay, language slash tongue, language. All right, give y'all a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Tuba Kazaki, Officer Yakadar, Miss Coco, that's correct. Tongue or language. All right, meaning tongue or language. So Lashawan, meaning tongue or language. All right, tongue. The reason now, of course, the sister said tongue because the Lashawan Qadash is the holy tongue, meaning a holy language, because you use your tongue in order to speak. If you don't have a tongue, you're not going to be able to speak. You're not going to be able to articulate your sentences at all or whatsoever if you do not have a tongue. That's why in the Bible, a tongue is a speech, is a language. All right. In order to say certain letters, your tongue is hitting off the roof of your mouth and your teeth. All right, and parts of your teeth in order to even speak and to generate words and sounds. That's just how it works. All right, it's all about you use your tongue to do it. All right, so ba la shawan. All right, meaning in tongue. Here we go. That's why I told y'all not to do a verbatim. Ibarya. What does Ibarya mean? All right. Give Officer Mataza a hand and give Officer Yagadar a hand. That's Hebrew. So now you guys see how, now once again, remember the Ibarya came after the Lashawan. So Ibarya Lashawan meaning Hebrew language. All right. So Ba Lashawan Ibarya meaning that's right there in the Hebrew language. That's right. This is this right here. But now remember, you see how it's backwards, right? You see how the Lashawan came first, and then the Hebrew came second. Somebody explain. Why did the Hebrew come after the Lashawan? Why did Ibarya come after the Lashawan and not before it like in English? Somebody let me know. Somebody break it down. In the meantime, when somebody breaks it down, in the meantime, it says La Amar. What does Amar mean in the meantime? Our language is left to right. That's true. Our language is right to left, to be exact. Our language is right to left, right? Then reading left. English is left to right. So our language is actually right to left. All right. But not exactly, that's not the only reason. Give Officer Mataza our hand. Adjectives come after the noun in Hebrew. In Hebrew, adjectives come after the noun, right? Adjectives, they come after the noun of what's being described. All right. In this case, the word Hebrew is being the adjective because it's describing the language that's being used. So everybody get the point there? Language is the noun while Hebrew is being the adjective. All right. So Hebrew, and like if I wanted to say Spanish language, in Hebrew that's language Spanish, because Spanish would be the type. It's describing the kind of language. Adjectives describe something. So Hebrew wouldn't be a noun in that context. Hebrew would be used as an adjective in that context. And that's why it comes after the noun. That's a rule in Hebrew. All right. Now you got La Amar. That's literally saying, it's saying, like to say. All right. Abayah, to say. So in the Hebrew, this is what Christ is saying, to say. All right. Amar meaning say. Amar meaning say or saying, but say, to say. All right. Sha'al, of course, Sha'al, Sha'al, right? Sha'al, Sha'al. That's how you say Saul in Hebrew. Sha'al, Sha'al. Lama, Lama meaning why. All right. Lama, Lama is why. All right. Lama is why. I'm going to give that to y'all because Lama, all right, is my. Now, that's not the only way to say why. It's like, that's not the only way to say why. I think I may have said my a few times. Lama is not how you always say why, but in this context, this is how you would write it. There's another way to say why, which is matawai. Matawai. Matawai is how you would say why. So if you want to ask a question why, matawai is how you would say it, or lama. Lama or Matawai, depending on how you want to use it. All right, we'll get into that later in. All right, I'm going through, I guess, reading the Hebrew and the New Testament can be a little advanced, and you get to learn a lot more words and new words. But you have to know the Old Testament well in order just to know it. All right, so it's kind of fun. All right, so Matawai Lama. I didn't think today I would even go over the word Matawai, by the way. So like Matawai is how you would say why. There's a few questions you can ask in Hebrew. Ma, which is what or how, what or how. All right. Why, Matawai or Lama is how you would say ask why. When is Mayafia. All right, asking when. All right, and where is Ayah? I could be getting those two mixed up. Ayah. Ayat might be where. All right, Ayat might be where. Let me double check that for y'all. I could be getting that mixed up. Oh, not Ayat. Ayah. It's like Ayah. Ayah is where. And Mafia is when. All right. And then Maya. Then Maya is who. All right, then Maya is who. All right, so you got Ma, you got Ma, which means what or how. It can mean what or how. All right, you have why, which is Mata why or Lama. When is Mafia. All right, where is Aya, and who is Maya. All right, you'll see this in the scriptures. Okay, if y'all need me to repeat that, just let me know. All right, I'll go over it some other class too as well for time's sake. All right, so we're not going crazy. All right, here we go. Saradak. Saradak. It's like it. Saradak. Somebody let me know, what does Saradak mean? And where also, well, first things first. Oh, please repeat it, Khan. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. So if you want to say, ma means what or how. So ma means what or how. All right. Why, why means why is matawai or lama. Madawai. A ma and a da and a wa and a I at the end. Matawai. Matawai or lama. That's how you would say why. Matawai or lama. All right. When is math ya. A ma and a tha, then a ya. Math ya. Math ya is when. So if you like, hey, I'm coming over, I would ask mafia, when? Mafia. I'll say mafia, when? That's how I'll respond. All right. Where, which is ayah, 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 ah with a ah, a ha, a ya, and a ha, ayah, ayah, a ah. It's like it. I think I added far too much in there. A ah, a ya, and a ha. Ayah, ayah is how you would say where. So if I be like, they're like, I'm by this. Well, where? Ayah. and buy this, or whatever the case. Ayah meaning where. Ayah meaning where. And then who, which is maya, maya, a ma and a ya, maya, meaning who. If you talking about somebody, I'm like, maya, like who you talking about? I don't know, like you talking this crazy story, and I'm gonna be like, maya, maya, like who? Like maya, who you talking about? Like maya the bar. What you talking about? I don't know what you talking about. Maya the bar. I'm gonna need some help here. What are you talking about, dog? Like that's how you would do it. So maya, meaning how. Of course, I'll be double war or double bar, double war or double bar. I would probably say double war. Right? I would say double war. It makes it easier. I would like maya double war, meaning what you talking about or who you talking about. Maya double. I could what you're talking about. I would say ma double war, ma double war. What you talking about? If I say who you talking about, I would say maya double war. That's what I would say. Now, if you said maya double bar, you're not wrong. If you said maya double bar, you're not wrong. If you say ma double bar, you're not wrong. All right, but I'm just letting y'all know that you're not wrong. But I would say double war, and I'll teach y'all later on why I would say double war. That's a little advanced, but I will tell you why I could say double war, just like I could say I'm a war and not our mar. I can say right. I'll teach y'all that later. It's a lot. I'll teach y'all that later. But there's methods to why I say this thing. So somebody tell me what this davadat means in ayanda bar for Awesome Mataza. Ayanda bar. Anybody want to give it what is davadat? And okay, first things first, where can I where has name me a place where y'all heard davadat before? Davadat. Davadat. Give on some Mataza hand. Persecute. Now, where did you hear Davadat before? There's a place where a lot of brothers can recognize the word Davadat. I believe it goes Basa Iraka, Waba Sawapafka, Daba Halam, Davadatma. Am I saying that right? Waba Sawapafka, Daba Halam, Basa Iraka, Davadatma. Or is it Davadatma Basa Iraka, Waba Sawapafka? I think I'm saying it backwards. Basa Iverka, Davadatma. No, Davadatma is first. I think Davadatma, Basa Iverka, Waba Sabapafka, Saba Halam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Bakwashwa. Does that sound familiar to y'all on what I'm saying? Davadatma, Basa Iverka, Waba Sabapafka, Saba Halam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Yabashwa. I think it's Yabashwa, Panyaham. Kawal, is it Kawal? Shaman, Psalms. Oh, I didn't have some Matthias, I remember. Well, goddamn. Psalms 83. Damn right. Let me double check to see if I'm right. Now y'all want, let me see. Am I right? I sounded right. I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. It seemed like I knew what I was talking about. I don't know if I knew. Let me see. It seemed. Let's see if I'm correct. Let's find out. Let me see. My memory. I went into the hard drives for this one. Sound like I was right. I think it's Tavadatma bin Basa Iraka, Wabasawa Paka, Daba Halam Mala'a Panyaham, Bakwash one. I think. Do I got the prayers in my I thought I had the prayers in here. May not. I know I got it. I may not have the prayers. It would be in the Hebrew though. I got the camera for it. That's not going to be there. The camp, Hebrew. I think it might be in Hebrew class. No, I don't think so. I think this is just vocabulary. None of these are the prayers. Oh, man. All right, I know it's on my phone. We'll worry about that later. Let me see. I can look it up on my phone and see if I'm right. I want to show y'all, just to tell y'all what I'm saying. So not every brother and sister, because there's other brothers and sisters that may not have seen. Well, you know what? Y'all brothers, come on now. Y'all brothers aren't supposed to leave me out like that. I have a translation right here. Let's go to Psalms 83. Why didn't I think of this earlier? Y'all should have said something. Like Officer Urash. Go to the Hebrew. Go to the scripture. Go to the blue letter Bible. This is literally where it comes from. So let me see. I think it's right here. So persecute them with thy tempest. All right. Khan, Daradatma, Basa Ivaka. All right. Wabasawapathka, Daba Halam. There we go. So I was right. Khan, Daradatma, Basa Ivaka, Wabasawapathka, Daba Halam. Then I think is Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan. That's the one I'm thinking. Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka Yahweh. Okay, there we go. It's a lot here. All right, y'all remember that. Remember those prayers. Hey, listen. Make sure y'all remember them prayers, man. Remember them prayers. All right, remember them prayers. Eventually, you're gonna be able to almost know it by heart. All right. The more Hebrew you read, the more Hebrew you study, you're gonna know them prayers by heart. Like that's why, like when brothers on the street talk about you speak Hebrew, I could easily just go into a prayer and be like, yeah, I know Hebrew. All right. I can be like, I know Hebrew. Daradatma, Basa Araka, Wabasawapafka, Daba Halam, Mala'a, Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka Yahweh. That's Hebrew. And they're gonna be like, damn, that's crazy. You know how to spit. I know I know how to spit. That's Hebrew right there. All right, that's Hebrew. Mala'a. All right. Basa Iraka. All right. Well, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabakwashwa, Shamka Yahweh. All right. And of course, that's above. But of course, so persecute them with thy tempest. It's Daradatma, Basa Iraka, Wabasawapafka, Daba Halam. All right, but let's get to it and what we were doing. I think we were here with it. So daradat meaning to persecute. So when it says that naya, I'll give y'all that naya. All right, that naya is that's saying you. That naya is that thou me, right there. So daradat naya, that's persecute thou me. That naya is that thou me. Why persecute thou me? Kwasha. All right, anybody know what kwasha means? Kwasha. Does anybody know what does kwasha mean? That's right. Kwasha meaning hard. Kwasha meaning hard, stubborn, all of that. Hard-headed, all that. A bunch of what kwasha means. All right, that's where it comes from. All right, kwasha eventually stubborn, and then of course, stubborn can be hard. All right, these are different forms of it. So kwasha. All right, laka. Laka meaning what? For you. Right? That laka meaning for you. That's your for thee. So that laka is for thee. All right. La ba'ait. La ba'ait. That la meaning two. Ba'ait. Y'all can pretty much guess this one, right? Ba'ait. Like, am I saying that right? Come, ba'ait. Ba'ait. What does ba'ait mean? Most High in Christ. That was Mataza hand, Miss Coco hand, meaning to kick. Ba'ait meaning to kick. And the last word, all right, I want to make sure I say this right. This is the root word right here. All right, it comes from Rabban, all right. Well, I believe it's really Rabban, but Rabban why? Rabban, I think Rabbanah. Let me look at the, is it hard to kick against the gold? It's feminine, and it's not plural. Right, Rabbanah. All right, there we go. All right, the Rabbanah. So the Rabban, all right, it'll be Davar Banah. Davar Banah. All right, davar banath. Of course, what does davar banath mean? That's your goad. What's a goad? Your goad is your prick. That's like your spur. That's like something pointy to get the animal going. Like I was breaking down before. That's what a goad is. All right, that's why it's important to know. That's why it's important to know the Hebrew. Now you see why I tell brothers, you want to know the Hebrew to understand the scripture. All right? You want to know the Hebrew. You want to know where these things coming from. All right? Like one the brother said prick equal thorn. And now was the brother wrong for saying that? No, because of course something pricks you, it feels like a thorn. It is, the brother had the right concept, like thorns hurt, prick, ow. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But of course, that's why it's always good to know the Hebrew. So when you go into the Hebrew, you're like, hey, okay, this actually is the Hebrew word for goad, and a goad isn't a thorn. A goad is like a spur or like a prick that gets an animal going. All right. The concept was right. It was there. You know what I'm saying? You understood it at a certain extent. But the real full break now to get the full breakdown of it, you would have had to go to the Hebrew to help you understand it. All right. So davar banah, right? Of course, ba meaning in or the in its context, and then the entire root word is davar banah. When you look it up, it'll actually be it comes from daraban, all right, daraban with a da, a ra, and a ba, and the wa is actually put in between the na, and so daraban, it's like a daraban. But of course, because of how Hebrew is set up, all right, and how you write it for grammar tenses at times, and to make it feminine. Now this is not feminine plural. This is just feminine. All right, darabanah. All right, darabanah, nah, like darabanah, meaning that spur in that case. All right. Everybody get it? Is everybody? So that's Acts chapter 26. So what we just broke down and read was Acts chapter 26 and 14. We read it in the Hebrew and we also read it in the English. Everybody understand and pretty much took notes and followed along as well as possible. Everybody pretty much get it? Khan, Most High in Christ. Khan, but it's confusing. Understood, Salakia. Khan, it can be confusing, Salakia. I've jumped into the New Testament. I may have jumped in the New Testament a little early, but I believe y'all were able to handle it though, and y'all did very well. All y'all brothers and sisters did very well. And at first, it's always going to be confusing. All right, but the more you practice it though, the better you'll get. The better and better you'll get. So don't sweat that too much. You want the confusing. The confusing is good in a way because that means you're truly trying to learn it. Some brothers and sisters be like, it's not confusing. That means if Hebrew is not confusing, that means you are not studying it. I pray y'all understand. if Hebrew is not confusing to you, then you're not studying it. That's how I know you're not studying it. Because it's not confusing. It's supposed to be confusing to you. It's something new. And so the more you try to study it, the more confusing it's going to get, and that's good. Because eventually it's not going to get as confusing. All right. So over time, listen, it's been 5 years now studying this Hebrew, and it's confusing to me. Still, it still confuses me at times. All right. So don't feel discouraged. All right. I look at something up like, why is that there? Of course, I research it and be like, okay, that makes sense why it's there. I got to go back into my notes and be like, oh, that's why it's there. And I'm piecing all my notes together. Like those slides you see were all my notes pieced together so you guys can learn the best way possible. Literally all my slides for y'all that y'all see on the screen is the fundamental basis of you having a fundamental understanding. And so once I give you that fundamental understanding, then y'all can go ahead and fly off the nest and then just ask me questions to verify if what you're saying is correct. That's the point of this all. One day, Yerushalayim is not going to be able to teach you much. That's the goal. The goal is I'm done teaching you, and you're just coming to me for verification, and that will be my form of teaching. All right, everybody gets the point on what I'm trying to say there. So, that's what's going to happen. One day, your kids are going to know how to speak English, and there's not much you can teach them. Next, they're just coming to you to ask you, what does this word mean? Am I saying it correctly? And you're going to do two things. You're going to help them out, or you're going to make them get the dictionary. That's it. Of course, what I would do, I'm going to help you sound it out, and I'm going to get I'm going to get the meaning of the word for you too as well. I'm going to break it down from the dictionary. All right. So with that, I say Shalom, Israel. All right. For the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and the Commander in Johanna. All right. Don't forget to pay your tithes. All right. My Ishra. Right. My Ishra meaning 10th in the Hebrew. Any increase the Lord gives you, that's 10% of that. The next High Holy Day is the Feast of Memorial Blowing Trumpets, September 15th. Prepare for the memorial blowing trumpets for all troopers, all officers, all sisters. Prepare for that next feast day. All right, we're preparing for it now. Actually, I'll begin with the brothers too. Any sister that knows how to cook, get ready. All right, any sister that knows how to cook, get ready. All right, y'all gonna be there. All right, Lord willing. All right, cook. Make some food. Lawful food. All right, lawful food. All right, don't listen. Don't bring no cornbread to the feast day and y'all tell me, yeah, I made it from Jif. I'm gonna throw it out. It's not gonna be allowed in the school because it has pork in it. I need y'all to learn how to make cornbread from scratch. Don't be coming in here not knowing how to make cornbread from scratch. I'm gonna throw the cornbread right the hell out. Immediately, right the hell out. Don't make this cornbread from Jif. Homemade cornbread. All right, from scratch. With the buttermilk, however y'all make it, whatever it is, from scratch. That baked mac and cheese. All right, make it from scratch. It better be good. Don't bring no unlawful food up in this goddamn school. Then I'm gonna have to put my head down and be like, Salaki, we can't have that in here. Don't do that. So I'm warning y'all now. Ask you questions now on what's lawful and unlawful when them times come. So when the feast day comes, don't be like, yeah, I made this with this, and this, and that. And then we're going to look like, brother, Salaki, or sis, Salaki. We can't have that in here. You done wasted your money, time, efforts, and taste buds. We can't eat that. But all right, Akim and Wa'akim. With that, I say Shalom, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah, Brakathum to the brothers, and Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alathan, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Shalom.